My name is Dr. Troy Manson. I am the Director of Special Education for Petersburg City Public Schools. I'm directly responsible for the special education programs and for Section 504 under the Rehabilitation Act of '73 and providing those students with services and accommodations. Petersburg City Public Schools actually have been under somewhat of a corrective action plan since 2009. Some of those concerns were due to failure to implement IEPs, individual educational program. According to the Individual Disability Educational Act, there was also concerns with maintaining and conducting eligibilities within that 65-day timeline that we're supposed to be doing for initial eligibilities, making sure that we were doing reevaluations according to the IDEA in a timely manner. We also cited for failure to provide services to students with disabilities according to their disability categories. And so those were the 5 areas that they had found us to be ineligible for. And that started in 2009. And then we came out of the corrective action in 2011, but we went back into another corrective action after 2011, and then another one in 2015. When they came in 2015, they basically found some of the same issues. It was writing of IEPs, conducting manifestation determination review meetings prior to students being placed in private day schools or on home-based instruction or in some type of alternative educational setting. It was alignment of goals with the student's disability, ensuring that we were aligning those goals to what the child's deficit areas were. The fourth one that they had concerns with were the services that we were providing the students, that we were not providing adequate services according to the student's disability. And then the fifth one was just the overall writing and implementation of the IEPs according to what the IEP would state, but the child's schedule did not match the child's IEP, which is a direct violation of IDEA. And then the final one was the sixth one, was the our graduation rate at the time. Our graduation rate for students with disabilities was less than 10% earning a standard or advanced diploma. Petersburg was the first school that really went through this overview. They had, when they came into the overview, they did the overview of our instruction, human resource, and special education and student services. So they looked at all several different departments, and we were the first one. So the state used us as the first one as they came up with the construction of reviewing of every program. And so this started in the 15-16 school year, and we just got out of the cap this current school year. You do have a couple of other school divisions that went through this review from the State Department and was placed in corrective action plans was also along with memorandums of understanding. We have to build capacity, and we have to do a lot of professional development of our teachers. I mean, often teachers who teach students with disabilities, literally, we would have, we have a lot of teachers who are on a provisional license, and that's really only one course in order for you to teach. And so you would take that one course, because they combine 2 courses, characteristics of students with disabilities, along with legal and ethical aspects, and they combine those 2 courses into one course. So most teachers, if you came in on a provisional license, you really only had that one course. So your bachelor's degree was in some other area, but you had that one course so you could obtain a provisional license from the Virginia Department of Education. So what we had to take a look at is we had to come up with a professional development plan. We had to build our teachers to capacity. We couldn't just wait on the instruction from the colleges. We had to come through and show them and work with them and provide professional development on how you develop an IEP, how you align the IEP presence level of academic and functional performance with the child goals, from the goals, the services, from the services to the accommodation. So we had to go through, and what we implemented was we took each step-by-step process. We had what we call an IEP online boot camp during the summertime, so where we provided that professional development. It was an 8-hour professional development. We provided that to the teachers, and we went through each systematically. We went from the child find process and the regulations in regards to child find. We did it with the administrators over special education and with all principals. We took them through that child find process. From the child find process, if a student was found eligible for services, we took them through how you take the information from the evaluations, from the psychological, the educational, the social, how you develop an IEP from there. Then we took them from the IEP to if a child was getting in some trouble, having some issues, how you develop that functional behavior assessment and that behavior intervention plan to assist that child and work with that child. And then from there, how the regulations in regards to when you must have a manifestation determination review meeting. So we systematically went through the whole IDEA process from the beginning, when a student has not been identified, all the way through if a student has been identified with a disability, and if that student was receiving some type of infraction, disciplinary infraction, what we needed to do and how we needed to obtain it. But then the next thing we did was we created We had our own regulatory book that we use, and we shared with staff in regards to this is what we're going to be doing. I mean, this is our practices that we're going to be doing. So we created a practice book for all teachers with special education, and we give that to the teachers. And we like to make sure that the teachers don't have that, and that's got us. That actually leads us, that guides our work, let us know what our work needs to be done and what we need to be doing. It's not that the team didn't want to do it. It was just a lot of times some people just had lack of knowledge in regards to what we needed to do. But one of the biggest things we had to do was we had to provide supports to the team. And so with my compliance specialists, the previous compliance specialists, and now my compliance coordinators, what we do is if we have a new teacher, we support them. Some of the supports that we provide, they will conduct your first, they will work with you and assist you with writing IEPs. They would take you through it. I mean, basically, they're going to model it for you, and it's going to be like a hands-on-hand process, how they meet with you, walk you through the development of IEP. They're going to help you conduct the first 3 meetings. It's required I require those coordinators to go in and conduct the first 3 meetings so that a new teacher, it can be intimidating going into the IEP meeting for the first time with the parent. So the coordinators will assist with that in those IEP meetings, working with those case managers to let them know we're here to provide that assistance that you may need until you build to capacity. And so that's what we constructively did for them so that it'll make it much easier for them when they go into a meeting, but they wouldn't be intimidated and they wouldn't want to quit. We wanted to retain them. So in order for us to retain staff, we had to show the staff we were going to support them. We were going to provide as much support as possible to ensure they were successful in regards to implementing IEPs, in regards to the overall being a special education teacher / case manager. Special education has a lot of paperwork that it involves, from the IEP process to a lot of regulatory regulation. And so we had to ensure to them that we were here to assist them, that we were here to work with them, that we would provide any assistance that they need, and that they weren't alone, that we were here to provide that additional assistance that you need through professional development, through modeling, through hands-on development of IEPs, manifestation, child study meetings. And that's what we had to do with the staff to build to capacity. And we're continuously doing that now. We continuously do a lot of professional development with our staff. We create a whole professional development plan at the beginning of the year. All of the special education staff get together. Central office staff will get together, and we create a professional development plan because we continuously want to identify some of the areas of weaknesses that we see. And when we see those areas of weaknesses, we pinpoint it through a professional development. And so we will attend some of those PLC meetings with our special education teachers so we can pinpoint what we need to improve on and what they need. We also even send out each year during the summertime, we send out a survey on what training do they think they need, and we'll provide that training to them throughout the school year, but also throughout the summer, so that when they come back in, they're more than well prepared for instruction and to start developing those IEPs for students with disabilities. Special education teachers are special teachers. They're a special breed of teachers because they are heavily involved in the writing of the IEP. They are heavily involved in the development of the IEP, but they also are expected to teach. They're expected to be a full engaged co-teacher in the classroom. They're expected to help the teacher, the gen ed teacher, understand how to provide special design instruction, how that special design instruction should look for that student with disabilities according to that child's individual educational program. They're also expected to be a part of the lesson planning, help developing the lesson plan with the gen ed teacher. So they're expected to also know the curriculum. So they're expected to know the curriculum, but also keep up with the paperwork that is required under special education. So they're doing the job of a gen ed teacher, but they're also doing the job of a special education case manager, because they also are a case manager, which means that they're the overseer of that child's individual educational program, overall program. They're the ones who are contacting those parents and talking to those parents daily. If the child is not making progress, it is their job to call the parent and explain that to them, and also conduct an IEP meeting to let the parent know why the child is not making progress. So I think a lot of the burnout from special education teachers can be contributed because it is a lot of paperwork. I mean, it is very strategic, detailed paperwork because it is a legal document. It's legal. I became the supervisor of special education in 2015, 2016, when the state first came in. My first year as the supervisor is when the state came in to do that audit on us. So I literally started day one with them through this process. Once we went through it, I just said, we got to strategically come up with a plan, and that's what we did. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Dr. Petrie Martin leadership has been instrumental. Mrs. Bell, who is my direct report, and Dr. Petrie Munn has been instrumental. We faced some barriers previously in regards to what we want to implement. Dr. Petrie Martin came in and she had the confidence in us and my team. She told my team, whatever you all need to do to get out this corrective action, you do it. We did not face barriers. She listened and she allowed us to be leaders. There was no micromanaging from Dr. Petrie Martin or Mrs. Bell. It was Dr. Benson. We trust your judgment. We trust your knowledge in special education, and you lead this. And so whenever we made any recommendation or whatever we need to put in place, she was in 100% agreement with us. She supported us. If some things didn't work out, she was also understanding of that. We would explain to her what took place. It was no, oh, you're wrong in this. It was none of those things. It was no blame. It was we all work together. We all our leadership team. We're not pinpointing and trying to make a separation between the teaching and learning department, the special education department, and student services. It was we all are one team and we all work together. And I think her leadership and the whole ELT leadership team really, with their support, is what guided us and which assisted us in order for us to close this cap. For the first time, really, Petersburg does not have a cap since 2009. It really means that we're providing excellent services to these students. And if we are implementing those regulations with fidelity, then the student is going to benefit. The student is going to make progress. So our graduation rate for students with disability has went up since we first started this journey. These students are not graduating with just an applied studies diploma. They're graduating with advanced and standard diploma, which will assist them reaching their post-secondary goals, which will open more doors for them as far as work and employment opportunities, college, just daily and independent living. And that's what you really do get when you work with Head, Heart, and Hustle. You get outstanding and successful outcomes for students, for all students, not just students with disabilities, but for all students. You have to believe in that. And if you believe in that, you're going to get positive outcomes for students, because students in Petersburg, they're just as capable of doing any and everything as students in any other school division are.